Welcome to the very first series of Get Active, Stay Active, the Parkinson's UK podcast. We couldn't be more thrilled to guide you through this transformative 12-week journey. This isn't just a podcast, it's your personal companion to building a vibrant, active lifestyle. Together, we'll dive into expert advice, hear inspiring personal stories, and uncover actionable tips designed to motivate and empower you. Hello, I'm Denise Waterman. Welcome to the Parkinson's UK Get Active, Stay Active podcast. In this episode, we'll explore how to plan your weekly schedule. We'll cover topics such as choosing the right activity for you, virtual or in person, while focusing on cognitive skills, balance and coordination. Plus, we'll discuss ways to boost confidence and, most importantly, have fun. In the studio with us today, we have Paul, who is a person living with Parkinson's. Hello, Paul.
Hi there, nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining us. And we've also got Anna Castillo, the Physical Activity Programme Lead for Parkinson's UK, where she has been instrumental in delivering the charity's physical activity strategy with her expertise in exercise physiology. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Okay, starting us off, Paul. What benefits have you personally experienced from being physically active since your diagnosis?
I was diagnosed just a week before the lockdown, so I had to go out and do my activity, and I wanted to make sure that I was being regular with that. So I decided I'll look a bit more into my running, and I picked up my running, and I've not looked back. It was almost a thing that I had to do to keep me going, and obviously the motivation of just getting out of the house during the lockdown sort of boosted me as well. So it was just an excuse to get out there.
Well, all of us had to find a reason to get out the house.
Sure.
And it worked for you.
It was fantastic. I was fortunate for where I was living that there was a nice long seafront, so I could run along that unhindered, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could take myself away from all the issues and what was going on, so yeah, recommend it.
Paul, how often do you engage in physical activity, and how do you determine the right frequency for you?
For me, at the moment, I probably run about twice a week. I do a run on my own, which is normally a bit longer, but I do the local park run. And what I like about that is you're with more and other people, various abilities, and you can walk, run, do whatever you feel. So that's the sort of strategy. I try and keep that regular activity, one myself and one with the local park run.
Is it only running that you do, or do you do other things?
I absolutely love boxing training. I'm a big fan of it, and I've got my local coach, and we do one-to-ones, and we do that once or twice a week. It's how I can fit it in and how I'm feeling. And that's more I would call aggressive exercise, but it's not in the fighting manner. It's just the pad work for the cognitive side. So that's good.
And do you fit this in around full-time work?
Yeah, working full-time. So it's either early in the morning or later on at night or the weekends. But it's a must. I notice the difference in myself.
And exercise has a huge impact on people living with Parkinson's, doesn't it?
Yeah, it massively improves quality of life. We have people living with Parkinson's who talk about the impact that it has on their symptoms, both motor and non-motor. So with that, I mean mental well-being, tremors, rigidity, even fatigue. We look at that, and we want to advocate a whole host of activities, not just one specific thing. It's about finding what's right for you, what works for you, and doing that. And of course, the recommendations are that you hit a variety of principles of fitness that we call that. So your strength, your flexibility, your aerobic exercise. So to do that, it incorporate different activities. So when Paul there was on about, his boxing and his running, he's getting a lot of different elements into that. The agility that comes from the pad work with the boxing, the cognitive element of having to think about the combinations that the coach will be given. It's encompassing a lot of what we say that a person should be trying to do. It'd be interesting to know if Paul does any stretching.
I'm as flexible as a tree trunk.
Yeah. So yes, we obviously that rigidity and flexibility can be an issue, but also with posture and things. So flexibility can help with posture, also with gait. As Paul's a runner, you'll know hamstrings, things like that get really, really tight. So to try and build in that routine of doing that stretching pre-post exercise helps reduces injury, but also as well keeps you supple and able to do your activity. But I think a lot of people are guilty of not doing that flexibility side of things. It's easy just to, when you finish that run, you're so tired, you think, that's it, I'm just going to go and have a cup of tea now.
Are you taking notice, Paul?
Oh, you sound like my boxing coach. He stops 10 minutes earlier to make me stretch.
Good lad.
And you do feel the benefits, especially the lower back area and what have you. Yeah, it's good.
Paul, have you noticed any changes in your symptoms related to your level of physical activity?
So everyone's different, and I can only speak for myself. For me, I've noticed the big difference in two factors. The physical side of me, you're feeling good, but the mental side is massive. Now that you're feeling you're worthy and you've sort of still got it, if that makes sense. A good booster for your morale and your confidence. And I feel that the symptoms are diluted. They don't go away, but they're diluted and more manageable. Now, with the right medication and the exercising, fitting it in together, it does work, for me anyway.
Anna, what would you say about Paul's approach to his activities?
Fantastic. He's talking there about how the impact it has on him and how it makes him feel. And that is what we hear from the community time and time again. It's something that you're in control of. And you feel, like you say, it doesn't take the symptoms away, but diluted's a fantastic way to explain that. And that they feel that for quite a time after that period of being active as well. So it's that prolonged effect of what you're feeling from that. So it's great that that's the benefit. And I think also what we're talking about, the mental well-being, the stimulus that you get from that. And I think it doesn't matter on a day because, as we know, Parkinson's fluctuates from day to day, hour to hour, is that just congratulate yourself and reward yourself on anything you do that day. If you're waking up and you are feeling so low or that, you just haven't got the energy, feeling very fatigued, even if you just manage to get up and go for a 5-minute walk, congratulate yourself, reward yourself for that. Don't put yourself down because you haven't been able to do what you set out to do. It's about maintaining that morale and celebrating everything that you do because it is an achievement. And on the days that you can do a lot, do it. Push yourself. Go for it. You've got to take everything as a win.
I mean, even for people without Parkinson's, we have days where we can and days where we can't. So don't lose sight of that. Be real.
Yes, exactly. Be real. We, like you say, that on some days you think, I'm going to go and do this, you have all the plans, but actually the body says no. And sometimes that comes down to fatigue. It may come down to medications, just not quite on it that day when it comes to people with Parkinson's. So it is about kind of being mindful and just the fact that you've set out and you've done something, be proud of that.
I couldn't agree more. There's days where I have a plan. I want to go a run, I want to go a longer run, and it's just not possible. But I don't see that as a bad day. I see that as a change of plans and accept it. And I will go out the walk and I might call on a friend or a family member and we just go a walk. And that's just as good as going the run. But yeah, you kind of have days where it's okay to have a change of plan.
Anna, is there any precautions that people can put into place to try and prevent, having an accident?
Yeah, I think when it comes to people who are prone to falling and things like that, you need to look at is your gait correct? Is it a freezing episode that's causing any issues? So sometimes it is going to need some intervention, going to the GP or seeing your Parkinson's nurse and discussing that. But sometimes it's things that you can look at yourself and getting somebody to look at your gait. Is your gait shorter than you would expect? And to purposefully think about your gait. So think about it like over exaggerate everything.
Yeah.
So if your gait's smaller, you will feel you're still doing the correct gait, but actually visually you're not. So over exaggerate your movement when you're walking and make sure you take that big stride. And your body kind of relearns to do that. So that will help with falling. Also, posture can be an issue with falls. So if people work on postural control, so core exercises and things like that, that'll allow them to stay upright, maybe not lean over as much. And that will help with reducing those fall elements. And again, we've talked about being sensible and things. If you're feeling really fatigued, don't push yourself too far, because that will either lead to an injury or a fall or something like that. And that just puts you out for longer, that you can't do anything.
So just be mindful.
Yes. Listen to your body.
Yeah. Just a quick question. If they've got Parkinson's and they're going to the gym, can they then use all the different equipment that's there?
It will depend on their condition and what they have as symptoms. And the answer is no and yes. If they are able to use free weights, that's fine. Great, use them, because it helps with joint stability and things like that. But what a lot of people with Parkinson's find is that they have a weaker side, so that they haven't got as much control of that side when using the free weights. So actually using the machines would be much better, because it's stabilized for them, but they're still getting that strengthening on that side of the body, and it's much safer. Doesn't bring about any injuries. So yes, if a person finds that they've got a weakness through their Parkinson's, don't go and do those free weights by yourself. If it is something that you want to do, then do it with a professional, so it can be done in a safe manner. If not, no, use the machines. You're going to get the benefit from that strength training, but it's in a safer environment.
For me, I can't use free weights. My left-hand side, I can't control. The tremor's more apparent. And when I'm with my coach, it's more of, even when he was stood behind me and we were trying the free weights and I was lying on the bench, there's no control for me in the left. So there is other options, and some of the equipment nowadays, it just helps you along. It guides within the bar. So for me, no, free weights is just, it's not one of the options, but there is a multitude of other options available.
So just find what works for you.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. And I would always say, if you're new to the gym anyway, go with the machines, because you're going to be doing the exercise in that safe way. Free weights is something that I would always recommend having tuition on, because it can go very wrong and you can cause yourself a lot of injury. So I would only do the free weights if you know what you're doing, or that you've got a professional that can be there with you if it's something you haven't done before.
So Paul, beyond the physical changes that you obviously see, how does that help your mental capabilities, the way that you are? Do you think it really makes a huge difference?
I think it makes a massive difference. The physical aspects is you feel healthier, how you feel. That's the part that motivates me. If you can make another notch in your belt, just losing that little bit off your waistline or anything, you have a little treat at the end of your run. For my mindset emotionally, it's probably where I get the most advantages. If I give myself a goal, you do pat yourself in the back and you do feel that you've achieved something. For me, running, there's some days where it's not possible. I might walk 3 lampposts and run between one to the other one and then walk 3 again. But that's just as good as doing the really long runs. But emotionally, it's the best feeling in the world. And it puts a smile back on your face.
Well, that's important because
Yes.
once you smile, the world smiles
No,
with you.
so they say.
Yeah. Anna, how do you determine which activities are best for each individual, especially based on their symptoms?
I think it's very individual. We at Parkinson's UK do advocate do what you enjoy, because you're not going to stick to it if you don't enjoy it. But you do have to be mindful that as your condition progresses, there's certain specific elements that you do have to bring into the program that you may have. And this will be very different to everyone. So it's about postural control. Large movements is another thing, because movements become very small with Parkinson's. So as the condition progresses, you'll find that the interventions that physios and things talk about is big rotations, large trunk movements, big arm movements, so that you're keeping that range of motion big, and then that allows you to continue a quality of life because you're able to be more mobile. So as it goes on, we think about that, and as you get further down the line, it's just try and avoid a sedentary lifestyle as much as possible. So it might be a case of that it's home based, that it's chair exercises. It may become very Parkinson specific as well, and that's where you need the intervention of your multidisciplinary team around you that can work with you to develop those new routines and introduce new activity to you to what will help to where you are. But from wherever from the point of diagnosis, you need to invest in being active. You need to, as soon as you have that, even if your consultant hasn't told you, or it's something you haven't quite heard yet, and this is the first time you're hearing it, just get out there and do something. Start small. Don't jump straight into doing something massive. It could be just like we were talking about, just going for a walk. Just actually getting outside. We're talking about mental well-being. Now, on days that you're not able to do anything physically, but if you're able to go and sit in the garden, we know the benefits of nature and nature around us and how that can lift your mood, lift your spirits. So just walking out, going out into the garden, if you've got that opportunity to sit there, or getting outside and taking in your surroundings, can help lift that mood, which then lifting your mood, you'll feel in a better place to actually then be able to go on and do something else. So it will change to what you can do, to depending on where you are in your diagnosis and your journey. But the point I always come back to is do something you enjoy. Don't go and get a gym membership and pay all that money out that you get tied into if you hate the gym or you don't think. Try before you buy. Go to a gym and ask if you can have a free day pass or something, just to try it before you go to, if it's something you've never done before. Because once you've invested in it and it's not something you enjoy, it's going to be a waste of your money. So there's a lot of things you can do out there for free. Give those a go. There's a lot of things that's going on in the community that's socially based, so team sports, things like that, that may suit you better. Or maybe like Paul, where you just like to run or go out with a friend or two, or then the social aspect of maybe once a week. But just make sure that it's right for you. We do advocate that social element because people can become quite isolated. And it allows people to get into that environment, to speak to people that's in the same situation as them. But also as well, even if it's not a Parkinson's group, it's taking you out of the world you're in, so you can just kind of forget about it and be Paul or be Anna, not be that person with Parkinson's.
But isn't there a little bit of an element of have a go at something? If you don't like it, leave it. But it could be dancing. I mean, you could find out you're the best ballroom dancer in the world.
It's weird that you're saying that. We were at a summer festival where a lot of people were dancing, and it was a thing that me and my wife said we'll start looking into. I'm not brave enough yet, but it's a thing that I've promised her that we will look at.
Well, I've started ballroom dancing in the last 6 months, so if I can do it, you can do it, honestly.
I mean, today we're in Bournemouth, but who knows? We could see you on Strictly Come Dancing next.
You never know. You never know. Never say never.
Is there an ideal frequency as to how much activity should be done?
There is a recommended kind of dosage, as we say, when it comes to being active, and we look at kind of 75 to 150 minutes of aerobic exercise a week. We look at resistance training, flexibility, and with Parkinson's, there's the cognitive element that we have mentioned. So that's spread out over the week. Now, that's a very daunting amount, just thinking about doing the aerobic exercise. Now, obviously, lots of exercise can attribute to those, because if you're doing boxing, for instance, that's definitely aerobic, sometimes to the anaerobic, depending on what you're doing. So you're hitting those intensity levels. So don't try and think about segmenting everything into, this is my running, this is my strength, this is that. You will find that activities incorporate a lot of these elements. So be mindful of that when you're doing that. So again, it's that variety, making sure that you're hitting the resistance, the aerobic, and the flexibility. Now, the cognitive side, dance that we've mentioned, absolutely fantastic for cognitive influence. So it's that kind of, you're thinking about the dance steps, you're counting, you're listening to the music, you're having to learn a new routine. For if you've never danced before, you're using your body in a totally different way. Now, that's going to be exhausting just after you've done that. So it's, about going out there, making sure that you're getting those elements in there. And there is that recommended. It is daunting, so build up to it. And you can do it in little chunks across the day, or if you do have that time where you've got 45 minutes and you feel well enough, do it like that. On other days, you might find that you're doing 10 minutes 3 times a day. Just do what's right for you.
And Paul, how on earth do you stay so motivated and you stick to a weekly activity? Is there anything that's given you that strategy or support, or is it just because you're you?
There's a few elements there. One, I'm quite motivated anyway. I've got it. There's a streak in me, but I've also got family and friends that help motivate you. My daughter, she's all about her keep fit, and she spreads a lot of positive energy. So she's, even though she lives far away, she contacts me almost every day and always asking what you're doing, what's happening. We've ran together now and we have such a good time together. And then my wife, she's got the caring side, and she understands my limitations and what I'm capable of. And so there's different aspects that help me, but a part of it's myself as well. I have to do something. I have to have a goal, because in my mind, the battle is me against Parkinson's, and you don't want it to define you. You want to be in control. And like we said, even the simplest things of going a walk is quite difficult for some people with Parkinson's, some other friends that I've seen with Parkinson's. So it's knowing your limitations, keeping setting your goals, even if it is just that little walk in the park. But just get out there, do something, walk along your corridor in the house, anything. And something's better than nothing. That's
and
the way
I
look at
can't
it.
wait to hear all about your dancing with your wife. Come back and tell us next
I've
time.
really stuck my foot in it.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us today. It has been very insightful. For any of you that are listening, don't forget that we're here to support you as you navigate your journey with Parkinson's. Remember, you are not alone. Let us help you find your way forward. For more information, resources or support, please visit Parkinson's UK website at www.parkinsons.org.uk. Until the next time, take care, stay strong, and we'll see you on the next episode.